It's high noon in the nation on Wednesday, the 28th of December, as we welcome you to the Bridge 99 and to the public eye. We have open minds on this program, no gossip, no slander. We look at the affairs of the nation and give you a balanced view. Everybody knows where I stand, and everybody knows where the Honorable Pearnel Charles Sr. stands. And we can gather together because, like you, we're seeking to revive the national spirit. We're seeking to round out 2022, what a year, and move into 2023 with optimism, with purpose, and with a good hope for all of our people. Thanks so much for joining us on The Bridge. The Bridge 99.13579 on the FM dial. And later on, we'll be connecting with our colleague Irwine Clare on our sister station, Irie Jam Radio in New York for the Global Connection Hour. Remember, you can watch our live stream at www.thebridge99fm.com, thebridge99fm.com, wherever you are in the world. Follow us on Instagram at the Bridge99FM and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Bridge99FM. Keep up with all the happenings by downloading the Bridge99FM app in the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. Mr. Charles, how are you, sir? Hope you spent a quiet Christmas.
I did, you know.
Yes.
I did, and I'm visited by one of my daughters from overseas.
Abroad? Oh, that's lovely.
Who has asked me to.
She's come back, as many Jamaicans have, to celebrate the Christmas at home. It's amazing how there is this homing instinct, eh?
And she said that she's been hearing that you've been taking good care of me. So I asked her what she mean by that. She said that you've been very soft with me.
Uh-huh.
I said, that's not what the man from Red Hills tell me. The man from Red Hills tell me you make credit with how rough you are.
No, but you should listen to the ladies, you know. When it gets to our stage, and given our proclivities, the ladies are the cogent viewpoint.
I have a problem, you know, Ronnie. I find that most of my family are very soft with you.
Really?
I don't know why. I'm you're a Catholic. They are not Catholic. I don't know why. They think you're a nice person.
Well, listen, thank you. I'm blushing all over. People of my complexion do that. Minister, we end the year, and we want to give praise where praise is due, even as we critique where we need to do better.
Yes.
What is your settled view on the public service wage negotiations that you have that we have just completed or are completing?
Ronnie, as one who have been in the negotiations and organization for workers.
But you're in a unique position.
Over 41 years.
Yeah, but not only were you a trade unionist, first and foremost, but you're also a minister
of Labour and Social Security for 2 terms.
So you sit on both sides. You have sat on both sides.
Well, and I've been given some praise from like Mr. Brown.
Well deserved.
Who felt that the Industrial Dispute Tribunal now allowing workers without trade union, without lawyers
to
carry their thing there. Yeah. He felt it was very good. But
I agree.
I want to say something to you. Many former Minister of Finance and many other groups of civil servants, when they were instructed by the IMF, they were so nervous and fearful to approach what this Minister of Finance and this group of civil servants have tried, are working with. And in my opinion, I haven't seen anybody on the street. I haven't heard much complaint. Well, I was complaining to one of my colleagues, and he said, well, 3 things came on. A wage increase, reclassification and back pay. Yeah. And major that they were around the Christmas time.
Uh-huh.
So let us wait and see
Well, let us
if
wait
there's
and see.
any complaint
No,
after
but
that.
we want things to settle down. We can't afford nobody must take pleasure in disruptions of any sort. That's ridiculous. That only cuts back and hurts everybody.
Well, as I say, I want to congratulate the team
Good.
of civil servants,
Good. And
along with the minister and his team.
And the unions.
They are the unions, the civil servants, and the outside unions who
have a role
work
too.
with them. And there are areas that are represented solely by the unions, like Water Commission.
But remember, the teachers and the police haven't settled yet, and they are the largest contingent. But we hope that a process is in place. And the nurses signed on and they seem to be having second thoughts, but never mind. But I need to hurry you, because my concern again is that we are signing away more money, better classifications, without even the slightest genuflection towards increased productivity.
Yes. Well, it may not be as hard as you want to hear, but if you are going to restructure, if you are going to shift some workers from one area to the other, the objective must be leadership in the various areas to increase productivity. I went up to Constant Spring, and if any of them listening, I really would like to congratulate. Out of the virus, a big change has come to Constant Spring.
What's that, the tax office?
The tax office. You have to sit under a big tent.
Yes.
And then you go up 1-1 or 5-5, and sit out, watch your number, and
the process works.
I'm wondering, and I said to one of the supervisors, I hope you keep it like
Well, this is it. But I have a difficulty, a slight difficulty. I'm agreeing with you and sharing your gladness. But we have to stop congratulating ourselves for doing the things that we're paid for. We must congratulate people for doing beyond that, doing the extraordinary. But leave it that way.
No, but don't leave it that way. Let us look at those who are there, who have never tried, never done it,
and are trying to do it.
And in fact, stand in the ways of those who want to do it.
Well, in my view, they should. Well, those persons should be out on their air. They should never be working there.
Well, they said the same thing about politicians.
And I agree similarly.
No, I don't agree.
You don't agree? If you don't perform, you must stay? No,
that's not all.
Oh.
If you fix a bridge or you fix a road, and somebody congratulates you, but what you congratulate him for, that's what we pay him to do.
Yes.
But congratulation means something.
Okay. I think it means it means something.
It pushes you to do better and do more.
Okay.
That's the pay you get. Running the big congratulations you get for some of the things you do.
No, you're right.
No pain that
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Very Trop and Sipney. But there you are.
Quati.
There was, people overseas listening to The Bridge and listening to Public Eye. Listen to Mr. Charles. You know what name Quati? All over in the studio there with your big stush self. You know what is Quati? Only Jeff. Anyway.
If you know what is Quati, tell me if you know Fippans and
Fippans and Jill.
Fippans and Jill.
Yes. But there's been some thought expressed. You adverted me to an article about productivity.
Yes.
Tell me. My understanding is that the writer is saying that in order to increase our productivity, we may need to import managerial talent.
Yeah, well, Ronnie, when I read that line, I look in myself and understand that most of our managers, top-class workers in various fields, in the medical field, nursing field, and in commerce, have migrated.
Okay, so
if we are able to get them back or get people to come, even temporarily, look at our schools running. We don't have men in the schools as we used to. There used to be a headmaster. Not that some women are not better than some men for headmaster, headmistress. However, the symbol of men in our schools at that level has moved away.
There's undoubtedly a
That's a problem.
There's a human resource deficit. But there was something else in that presentation. One, it was the view that the real deficit in our economy was not an issue of profit, seeking profit.
Yeah.
So much what was holding us back was the pandering to workers. And there was a specific reference to the LRIDA, I think, of the Labor Relations Industrial Disputes Act, and the fact that it paid too much, it raised too many obstacles and invited too much concern about workers' problems rather than the pursuit of profits. I can't imagine you would agree with that.
No, well, I tell you something. I would put it another way.
Okay.
I would say that management, and I've said this to you on this table, have not come before us in a negotiation and say, listen, last year we were producing at 37%.
Right.
Anytime you can move it to 40%, except that percent can come to you.
Yes.
But if you were 38% last year and you are now 35%, and you want a 40% increase, I have a problem.
No, and I'm with you. There certainly has to be a seismic change in terms of labor attitudes. Okay,
and
to things like
management too.
Yes, but of course. But then, if you have a system, a society which is as rigidly classist as it is in Jamaica, still unfortunately, this is what you're going to get.
Well, how do we get away from it?
Well, no,
we are not moving forward.
No, we're moving.
If we continue on
no,
that road.
in fact, we're moving backwards because the all of the statistics tell us that the inequalities in Jamaica are being aggravated rather than being collapsed. No, the article went on to point out that there were a number of things that were needed to be done. One was the resurgence of family life.
Yes.
But
nobody can disagree with that.
A point with which I totally agree. But then, what are we doing? In our entire cultural orientation is towards individual choice, self-satisfaction, no self-restraint. Yes? That is the genre of our music. It is an unspoken and sometimes very loudly spoken ideology, social ideology. Mr. Charles,
let's tell you one.
Pause there.
Tell you one that bothers me.
Yeah.
Go a little further.
Right.
That we want to dictate to X school, whether it's Catholic or Adventist or whoever, that if the girl want to wear tights, if the boy want to wear this a rider, what is that?
Yeah.
So we want to even dictate to people how their children are to operate. So the principals of schools say, look, we would like to see you comb your hair, fix it acceptable to
and wear this
board.
Uniform.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you say, no, man must come within tear up.
So we have to be very careful of the fact that if we're going ahead in 2023, the kernel, the hub of social reconstruction has to take place in the family. Yes? That means that you must have stability. That means that I'm not going to be like Lady Huggins or Mrs. Bourne, that some of our overseas listeners may remember. Yes? Who had these mass weddings. But I am saying that if a man and a woman come together and a child is conceived, they are bound to maintain a relationship for the benefit of that child for the rest of their lives.
But let me remind you of something.
We don't accept that yet,
Let me remind you of something, because I have a problem.
Who was it that said you must bat but don't score?
Well, something, if you were batting and not scoring, you would have much of the balls going over the gully. Look, let me just say this.
You're rich today. The ball's going in the gully. Well, close your ears, Tamoy.
Well, let me say this to you, Ronnie. Family is something that more should be placed on.
But of course. There was
because, Ronnie, when a woman walks into the school with two children, you don't know which is the mother.
Yeah.
They told him,
Well, may I tell you, in central Kingston during my tenure,
Yeah.
I came across a woman of 22, and she was a grandmother.
yeah, I have seen one in 20s, grandmother
yes.
too.
Yes. No, sir. In those events, I agree with the writer's suggestion that we have to incentivize stable relationship. He said married people, and other countries have done that. But our society that is such a monumental shift in the right direction, but in a difficult direction, that it is going to require a lot of unity. It is it is important that it's not seen as being repressive. Yes?
But marriage is a symbol, Ronnie.
Yeah.
It has to go beyond putting on a ring and having a
It's
pass.
a commitment.
Well, not even, you have to train them.
Well, of course, sir. And
some people just come married.
well, and it may
They're
not
married
last.
they walk in, they're married, and they walk out.
Well, this is it. But then
No commitment.
But this is a fundamental objective going forward in the new year, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, because it reverberates into education, socialization, national security, productivity, all of these things upstream. The other issues.
Before
you
get to the
go.
other shit. My other issue is that Mr. Siago, who is now president of
the private sector organization,
Right.
Metri Siago.
Yes. And he came out in favor of the $15,000
minimum wage.
Now, what Mr. Siago seemed to forget is that it's not only domestic workers get minimum wage.
Yeah. Many government officers get minimum wage too.
Let me tell you something. Minimum wage is a problem. It was never meant to be the wage that is paid everywhere.
Yeah.
It means the minimum wage that you can pay.
Yeah.
But he who can pay more should be negotiated to pay more.
But you know, sir.
But hold one word. Hold that. Don't miss it. There are some people who work minimum wage, who have to employ people to take care of their children.
Or an elderly person. Yes.
Or a family.
Or a family.
Now, if the government, if those families or elderly person cry out that they should be getting minimum wage, how the lady who come at home can work minimum wage can pay them?
No, but let us just remind our listeners abroad that $15,000 Jamaican for a 40-hour week is $100 US, roughly.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
for 40-hour week.
Yes.
Now our cost of living is different from what it is in New York or in Toronto, but at the same time it's very high. We're facing inflation, which is beyond the normal levels. Now, while I accept entirely what you say about the unaffordability of that and the hardship of that, Dr. Peter Phillips always tells us that some 60% of the workforce is earning either the minimum wage or slightly above it.
Yes.
Now, all of that being so, yes, we nonetheless have to ask, what does it cost for a person to live decently in Jamaica? Can they live on less than $15,000 a week if they're working 40 hours?
It depends on who set the stage of what you need to live. Yeah. Because when I was a boy,
well, my standard, my stage would at least be able to eat enough food to get through, to produce.
But hold on, Ronnie. Look at me and look at you.
Yes, sir.
And if we roll back the clock,
yes, sir,
of your Sunday evening dinner, a man,
very different. Very different. But then you see that only accentuates the divisions and the tensions in the society. This is the Bridge 99 FM, and this is the Public Eye, Pearnel, Charles, and myself. And when we come back, one of the issues that we're just hinting at, the Chief Executive Officer of the President of the Jamaica Agricultural Society, formerly CEO of RADA, Mr. Lenworth Fulton, he has a pulse. He's testing the pulse of the livestock sector. They're short of animal feed this end of year. Why and what can be done? Soon come back. Thanks for being with us on the Bridge 99 FM. This is the Public Eye. What should be the minimum wage? what balance should be created between what the employers of minimum wage people can pay versus what it needs to make a livable wage in Jamaica? Well, that argument is going to continue.
I give you one little point in it.
Yeah.
The minimum wage was never set as the wage for everybody to pay.
No, but it has become.
It's the lowest.
It's what it's become. People
So
government.
So what we must do then is call on government and call on other people like yourself and myself. Well, to say, this is the minimum you must pay, not the maximum.
Well, we must say that, but at the same time, we need a prescribed minimum wage, because if you don't have that, people are going to exploit labor further. That is what they've always done. That is why we had a minimum wage in the first place, and you supported it.
Yes, and the understanding that we will say to them,
always.
This is the minimum you must pay.
Yes.
But it's not the maximum.
Well, but then the first people who have to accept that is the government of Jamaica itself, because it's paying a whole heap of the 100,000 plus public servants at minimum wage. So them to set the example.
And they are using our money to pay them.
Well,
therefore we can say to them, we are satisfied for you to say
to increase.
But then 1 minute, Ronnie.
We're keeping our guests waiting, but go ahead.
You cannot have a maximum that everybody is at one.
The minimum can't be a maximum.
No.
Right.
No. The minimum, moving from the minimum, you can have a maximum.
Yes, I got you.
You have various maximums.
And then,
depending on what you can pay.
When we come back to this subject, we'll ask ourselves, what would that prescription do for inflation? But that's another question.
Maybe that's a solution.
Maybe. Mr. Fulton, morning, sir.
Sir Ronnie, how are you doing?
Well, thanks. Season's greetings to you.
And same to you, sir.
And the Honorable Pearnel Charles is listening intently.
I know that. How are you, Mr. Pearnel?
Well, I was very happy when I heard you and your minister saying that consultation was done at the level where the managers of material had satisfied you that it would have been satisfied up to weekend.
You mean this is the animal feed issue that we're talking about?
Yes.
Yes.
What is your latest intelligence, Mr. President, from the JAS? Are the chicken farmers and the pig farmers egg farmers getting their feed now or not?
They are getting, I think all will be satisfied no later than, say, midday tomorrow.
Okay.
Due to transportation time from the point of manufacture to the outlet.
Good.
But enough feeds have been manufactured and enough raw material is here.
No, that's very good news. But let's take you back. Why did this happen in the first place? Do you know?
Well, I spoke to a very senior official from one of the feed manufacturing company. And one of the glitches which was beyond their control is that the barges that they used to take the feed to the port used to float down the Mississippi River, and the river level have fallen so low that the barge can't be floated down it. They have to find a new source to get raw material.
And some of that source, I'm told, was to come from South America, from Argentina, I believe.
Yes,
and there were delays there for the soya. No, but Mr. President, let's ask ourselves something else, because that bit about the shortages, the supply bottlenecks, that never happened on Christmas Eve, sir.
No, I think we had been seeing some indication of shortage some 6 weeks ago.
So why we never did something about it before, sir?
Well, I think we have to take some blame, those who have the levers to pull. It tells Ronnie that each ministry must have a quick response team. I don't know if that exists currently in the Ministry of Agriculture.
What response could they give? Because it seems to me that as in so many cases, and I invite Pearnel's comment, that the government is held responsible for something over which they have no control whatever.
Well, they have no control now. But remember, we took 300,000 acres of land out of sugarcane. We have not come up with a plan to know if it would be feasible to grow part of the feed here. We have not done the research to know if black-eyed peas and cowpeas, which can supply up to 17 to 19% crude protein to animal, would be one way to supply the protein with the corn. We have not investigated whether or not how many acreage of cassava we could grow for the carbohydrate, or pumpkin, or dasheen. So we need to do some work because the investment, if it will come, will depend upon good feasibility study.
Let me throw something back at you, because you know all of these things. You're president. You're head of the thousands of farmers. You're even a big man in the Ministry of Agriculture. You give directive to RADA. You give directive to farmers. I mean,
would that were so?
I wish that.
but why not?
But let's answer Pearnel's question. How is it, sir, that after, because the things that you mentioned are novel to some of us, but not to all of us. Yes, we've tried soya before, I.S. Joseph's. Remember that experiment? We tried corn. What about pioneer corn before people run cow and goat into it? What about the big argument we had about sorghum? Yes, and I agree with you entirely. One of the scandals of the day as we end 2022 is the fact that the sugar lands are now taking bush. The cane lands
have taken bush.
Have taken bush, thank you, sir. And here are we being held to ransom by circumstances outside of our control when we ought to have done things to prevent that, eh?
Well, that's right, but it's never too late to begin. You see, in my estimation, and I might be wrong, we have never had bipartisan support for the development of agriculture. We have had it for tourism, we have had it for sports and entertainment, but not for agriculture. And you won't reach anywhere unless you have that.
Well, that is a principle that Mr. Charles and I agree. This is a basis on which we sit together, coming from different backgrounds on this program, and we're grateful for that input. But I want to unpack this a little bit more. It's important. First of all, since right now, the crisis that we are facing, thank God you say that your assurance is that it will be eased this week. Good. But the losses that the livestock sector has already undertaken is going to be tens and tens of millions of dollars that are unrecoverable, Mr. Fulton?
That is so true.
Yes.
Because when you starve the bird of feed, they become stunted and you can't reverse that in a broiler. The time span is too short.
When the egg, the chicken, the layer stop laying. You know, pick up once you feel our cry, you know.
And
I know. There is a loss. There's a loss.
No, and that loss to me is vastly more than what it would have cost to stockpile enough corn and soya to prevent us running out, particularly at this time of the year. And I know that it is good business to have just-in-time inventory, but where I think the government can be asked to make a strong initiative is to say to the feed manufacturers, listen, don't make this happen again. You must have at least 6 to 8 weeks of supply. Yes?
That is a good suggestion. Or the government could make an arrangement that for every 3 months, they will have 2 weeks or 3 weeks of supply. And if it is going to get old, beyond that point, you make arrangements with the two companies to use your supply.
Well, Mr. Fulton, I've heard your Minister of Agriculture saying good things. I want to see some good things on the ground.
Yes.
I've heard you feeling more comfortable, but I am not as comfortable as you are because the lands are out there. Where are the investors to say, okay, we are going after chickens? Because chicken is one of the food that everybody want to eat. The women have come into agriculture. Every woman can put 50 chicken in her yard if you teach her how to have the cob and get the food. It is hungry time coming, Mr. Hill, Mr. Fulton. We
agree with you.
We can't have land put on in a bush. We can't have people quarreling. Put them to work. You have a RADA team, you have agriculture, you have farmers. Let's go.
Well,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sir Lenworth. I think you may
Well,
want
what
to
I was
respond.
saying, one of the things that I have been calling for 2 years now is a proper land reform system. Look at how the thing is. SCJ was developed out of the European money when they're pulling out of sugar. SCJ now holds the sugar land. You have the National Land Agency dealing with land. You have all kind of agencies. None of them are in the Ministry of Agriculture. So any Minister of Agriculture have to be going through some other ministries about land. It is untenable.
But also we must be consistent, because Mr. Shaw, in one of his previous ministries, Mr. Audley Shaw, and he doesn't speak carelessly, he told us some time ago, to my distinct memory, that there were more takers for the cane lands than we could have imagined, that people were ready to come and invest. Where them there?
Boy,
Isn't this something that you want some people to come and invest in?
But of course, sir. So where have I seen the advertisement? Maybe you have. Here
No, I haven't.
or to the diaspora abroad. The Prime Minister did say it, give him his credit, when he was in the United States recently, that look here, there are prime lands in Jamaica that are available to lease to you if you can show us that you're bona fide investors, and then we give you a certain length of time to put in your capital and your crop, but otherwise the lease is going to revert to us and to go to somebody else. This is the kind of activism we need now, Mr. Lenworth Fulton.
I agree, sir, but let me tell you something.
And then we'd have to, before you go, sir, one other thing. I just wanted to say, just so that you can answer, we would have to talk to the financial sector too, because as Mr. Lenworth Fulton must know, and Sir, Mr. Charles knows, and I know from personal experience, to get a bank loan for agriculture it's easier to reach heaven.
I understand, and that's true. We don't have any loan. But I took an investor here, and he wanted 1,000 acres of land. I sent him to SCJ. They told him to develop the proposal. The last thing they said, he didn't put his financial status together, so they don't know. He went to his bank and wherever and put everything. It's 2 years now, and he had not heard one word about the land, and he was willing to take some of those lands in Westmoreland.
We're not serious.
Mr. Fulton, you are in the Ministry of Agriculture?
No, he's in JAS now. He used to be in the
I'm in
ministry.
JAS, Mr. Charles.
But JAS is closely associated with the Ministry of Agriculture.
Must be.
Yes. Yeah,
and you have a farmer who, if they get land, they can get going planting rice, planting something that can feed the chickens, help up that program that is coming, that food security program. Mr. Fulton, you guys are in trouble, you know. We are all in trouble, but you are the leaders. Minister, you, sir, is head of the farmers. And without the farmers, you know, believe me,
yes,
it's worse than what's happening in Ukraine.
But let me tell you, for years I was a practicing farmer, you see?
Yeah.
And it is the hardest, it is the hardest profession that you can be in. Because you are subject to the vagaries of nature, you are subject to the contempt of the financial system, by and large, and also the indifference of officialdom. And
you leave out the biggest one.
Which one?
The 2 foot post.
Well, thank you. Even worse.
That is why I run off.
Yeah.
I run off, you know.
And you too.
They
have
burn
that
down my
experience.
cane to them one grass to plant.
Yeah.
If you let go cow,
Yeah.
they burn down every root of cane.
Yeah, look at that. What a travesty, what a scandal. So, Lenworth, where we go from here? Because I am really worried about the small chicken farmers, pig farmers, big and big ones, because they glad to hear that they will get some feed. I hope they have the money to buy it, because they're going to have to dig into their savings if they have any, because that which they're going to get from the pigs or from the layers or from the broilers is not going to pay back for the feed, and the margins are quite slim.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we are now in discussion with the major suppliers to ensure that there are contingency plans and the communication between them, us, the farming organization, and government must be more robust and frequent, because information is needed early if there's a glitch. And there might be other glitches that nobody can control.
All of this is after the fact, I'm sorry, I'm going to belabor this point, gentlemen, because poultry and livestock are mature industries in Jamaica. Yes?
Yes.
And it cannot be that the owner now going to go sit down and work out contingency plan. Jamaica should never be without at least 6 to 8 weeks of supply of feed. And if you tell me that some of the raw materials can become stale, there must be ways to alleviate that. And don't tell me about inventory costs, because when you run out, as has happened now, inevitably the price goes up because it is scarce, and the losses at the chicken coop or the pig pen cannot be restored. What you're doing at a time where people looking to get the best return and have a little something to continue, you are shooting them in the foot. There's a serious problem. If I were the minister, I would be vexed today, vexed with those who have a virtual monopoly on this thing, and who are making sure that the little that they have went to their contract farmers and to their hatcheries and to the horse people.
And they're going to raise the price.
Of course, sir. Of course.
They're going to raise price.
Bound to raise. Okay.
Mr. Fulton, I want to just give you.
I want my president to get vexed. Are you a member of the Agricultural Society? I am.
Oh, well, I'm going to be, now I know who to take it out on you.
What were you saying? I'm sorry.
I want to go back to the point where there are Jamaicans with money. Mm-hmm. There are institutions in Jamaica advertising with money. Where are the persons who are ready to go and say, listen, we are in this food security system. We are going to produce X. We are going to produce Y. We're going to produce this. Where are those leaders in industry? Because 7,000 farmers, who we used to call small farmers, right?
But they
don't have the leadership. They don't have the finance.
I really want to pick up your question and thank Mr. Lenworth Fulton for being with us, because this is the absence of frankness and dedication, sustainable discussion on agricultural and food sufficiency is really, really begging. You only have it on programs like this. Mr. Fulton, I'd buy a bag of banana chips over the Christmas. Yes, coming from a very highly reputable, distributed by a very highly reputable Jamaican company. And I looked on it and it said that it is manufactured in the Dominican Republic.
Yes, that is true.
What? Banana chips have come from Dominican Republic?
It shouldn't have been.
Oh, you mean you're shame. You shame that should be so. What do us? We can't grow banana anymore, even for local use, even though we give up the export.
We should have more banana and we give up the export.
Boy, who vex about that, sir? We just take it for granted. With people listening to us in Toronto now tell us it's a whole heap of Jamaican product, yes? And when they look, say, it making in Honduras and Costa Rica. Oh, my God. What is wrong with us?
And imported come here.
And what?
Import
and come back in here.
Yes.
Yeah, sugar, Mr. Lenworth Fulton. Yes. How much when you put a spoon of sugar in your coffee tea at the morning? No, the sugar problem in Colombia.
Yes, that's true.
No, my God.
We have been going backwards.
Look what we come to.
Mr. Fulton, I hear you sometime making good noise. I say good noise mean I like what you're saying. But I want you to go a little further. You have the experience, you have been here. Ronnie made a point earlier. We have the banks, Ronnie. They said they have overflowing with money. Where are the leaders of industry who is going to say, okay, food security, this and that, we are going after that.
Me would have give a man a money. Me would have give a man a tax break for do them kind of things.
Of course.
Instead of which, what we're having is every IPO, initial public offer on the Jamaican Stock Exchange, and we're so pretty and we ring bell. Yes, it is for things that have to do with trading of money or other services, but not for doing the basic thing that humanity needs to do, which is to eat 3 times a day.
Yes, that's right, Ronnie.
My God.
And the interest rate coming out of the DBJ, the Development Bank of Jamaica, cannot be entertained in agriculture.
Well, no, that's all.
Yeah, but you
I could tell you a story.
You show us, Mr. Fulton, show Ronnie Thwaites in this program what you want us to ball out, and see if when we ball it out, somebody don't have to operate. Because if you're going to have food, you have to have land, you have to have investors, and you have to have room to get it together and distribute. So where is it?
I agree, but let me tell you a quick thing. I don't know if Ronnie have another 2 minutes that I could talk.
Yes, sir, we do.
The infrastructural development for agriculture have not been paid any attention to by either government. That is the fact.
What you talking about, farm roads?
Not farm road is one small way. When you look on tourism, they develop Ian Fleming Airport, Norman Manley, Sangster, and they build 2 roads to move people from the airport to the hotel. PJ Patterson Highway, Edward Seaga Highway. When you come to other tourism infrastructure, they don't even bring tourists to the wharf front anymore. They build a port at Port Royal. You go across the hill, they build the Port Antonio Marina. You travel west, they build a place in Ocho, one in Falmouth and one in Freeport. So when a man come to build a hotel, him just don't have to ask where the tourists can come from.
Leadership.
Because the infrastructure is here to carry them.
Leadership.
We don't have the same benefit going into agriculture.
Leadership.
So the investors will go to Costa Rica and DR where they spend money on infrastructural development. We don't.
Leadership,
Okay,
Mr. Fulton, and you don't. You put it together and tell us.
No, well,
and trust me, the bridge will make them have to cross over and come to you.
No, Pearnel is right. But let's set an agenda right now, humbly and from our limited perspectives, being contemptuous of government or anybody else. The first thing is that we must have a stockpile of raw materials for feed that can hold us at least for 6 weeks. That is the life
I fully agree.
of a broiler cycle, or 8 weeks for pigs. Never mind, whatever it is, we must at least have that, and that can be a if and but thing. Secondly, because external prices are likely to go up, local production of feed and feed ingredients and the substitutes certainly must have a new energy. I would love to see the Scientific Research Council and the Ministry dust off all of those studies and really start to show us what could be done. Now we have land, we have labor, and we have the need, and we have some money.
No, you made a point earlier,
What's
you're not to leave out.
Which one?
The leadership.
Yeah.
Every night you see stock market, this going up.
Yeah.
You don't see anything about certain things.
Sir, but the commercial class in this country, yes, if you look at the history,
it's a money class.
They are buy and sell class, and right now they are buying and sell money more than anything else.
And anywhere they can get the goods from, whether it's Costa Rica, Australia, or where.
Now, with the best will in the world, I want to commend Grace Kennedy. Grace Kennedy, most of their products, come from Far East. Yes, but they at least have made, among others, some investment in local production in St. Elizabeth. Yes, particularly. That is good.
Yeah,
it needs to be multiplied 100-fold. Yes, and
how do we get some of the money that is, I don't want to say peddling, but is every day
that's a right
multiplying.
Right?
How do we get some of that on those lands?
Yeah.
When you get on Spurtree and look from Spurtree to Westmoreland to Underwood and see lands and lands. You believe in the Sahara.
But
in a little country like Jamaica.
Right, sir.
And it's pure bush, pure grass.
Pure bush. I would like to I can't solve that problem here, but Mr. Fulton may have suggestions. But I just want to add another injection into the few minutes we have. Because while we need big investors, yes, the mother farm concept, there are two things that we haven't spoken of. We need agricultural marketing corporation again, one.
Yes,
and two, we need, connected with that, we need to pay attention to the 200,000 small farmers, many of whom Mr. Fulton represents.
Yes.
Because all of the big agriculture will take time to come and take big money to come. But the small farmer has to be given the enablement and the encouragement to put the food on the table now, or else the dollars soon start run again.
I want to take away one word from what you call it.
Yes, sir.
There's no small farmer. We want farmers.
Farmers, okay.
And let me tell you this. Listen to me very carefully.
I am.
There are enough mouth in Jamaica ready to eat if we had people to produce.
Of course.
Your diaspora in Canada,
yes, sir.
in America,
yes, sir.
in the United Kingdom,
they're dying to send foreign exchange.
They're begging us.
Big like tourism, Mr. Fulton.
They're begging us to just get some
like
food
remittances, and we'll buy food if we're going to send it.
Yeah, of course. And we have people here to feed.
Yeah.
We have people here to feed.
Yeah, and instead of having to beg people for full barrel and send home, yes, come buy our produce from abroad and send the foreign exchange, and we can take care of ourselves.
They're begging us to
stand up proud.
They're begging us to send them food.
Yeah.
They don't want to eat foreign food.
So I would ask, like how the Ukraine war go on, yes, I would hope for a bipartisan and more than partisan involve the farmers and whoever else interested, landowners, right, to be sitting around our table. I would broadcast it to the world like the bridge, yes, and say, okay, since Ukraine debaut and since inflation is roaring in the United States and elsewhere, how we are going to deal with this in Jamaica down the line? That is the big question I have for 2023. Because I know a hungry man is an angry man.
Yes.
A whole heap of the national security crisis where we think state of emergency can deal with set of short-sighted people, yes, can be solved if we have people eating properly. And if you want to eat properly, you're supposed to grow properly.
Mr. Fulton,
we're not even feeding the school children, and we expect them to learn on empty stomach. What is this? Mr. Lenworth Fulton, a big role you have, you know.
I want to see you walk into the big organizations of all of the way, like Mr. Siaga is, what call it?
PSOJ.
The PSOJ.
Yeah. How many members of the PSOJ are involved in agriculture?
No. Are they?
No.
Why?
One or two.
Because
Jamaica producers, who else? And even then,
Mr. Fulton, hear me now. Beg these people to come out of the suit, man. Put on a water boot and start to produce food. Because guess what? My son told me the other day, he said, Daddy, is either we're going to have too much rain, which wipe it away, or no rain, which wipe it away. So let's prepare for that.
Yes, I agree.
You understand what it means?
Another area we have to go into, hardest one, Mr. Fulton, is get insurance for agricultural produce.
Well, yes, but you see, if you have irrigation and these things, you get the insurance because you reduce the risk.
You reduce that risk, except we have storm and flood and drought. But if you have irrigation, you deal with one of those.
And the little man can't have irrigation running.
No.
He can't get money to borrow.
No.
He can't manage the machinery to do it.
But
so therefore, there have to be leaders. The leaders are here.
Yes,
but they are sitting down in suits. Right? They have to put on water boat and come out in the place like where we go.
Yeah. The late Keebleman used to run the Ministry of Agriculture out of the trunk of a Morris Minor car.
Yes.
I appreciated that.
And what our man from out
J.P. Giles.
J.P. Giles.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, these people had...
and the one from up at Manchester there.
Yeah, Sons.
No. The one where I forget his name.
Yes.
He died in command the other day.
Okay. But
Billy McLaren.
Billy McLaren, yes.
He brought out the October.
It's not that we don't know what to do, you know. Maybe the partnership wasn't right. But Mr. Fulton, that Agro 21 during the 80s, yes?
Yes.
It was a good thing, you know. I used to go down there with the people, and what I saw being produced on Jamaican soil was as good and better as you get in any high-scale stush American supermarket, you know.
I agree. Yeah. We have done some successful things.
People used to tease Mr. Siaga and deride him about hearts of palm, but he could have made mistake on that one for me. But what I saw happening in terms of other products, vegetables, fruit down in those in south of Clarendon was worthwhile. It was worthwhile public investment because that is going to increase food security. You name me one nation that is prosperous and doesn't provide the bulk of its own food, and we are talking about prosperity here, and we lift up charity at Christmas time. God bless everybody who is doing it, but that can't sustain us into 2023. Look at the dairy industry. Mr. Charles, do you know we can't even afford to give Pickney in school milk to drink for 1 day a week?
Well, hold on. Do you know something else?
Oy.
Do you know that we have a school that closed down because they didn't have enough food?
Well, look at that.
No. Edwin Allen the other day.
Path students
Not that they
couldn't
have
get
money
food.
to buy it, but food.
Yeah.
Right? So, Mr. Hilton, Mr. Fulton.
Yes, sir.
So what we're going now, we're making proposals now. People love when we come up with practical things. We need a buffer stock. We need to look urgently at the use of our lands. You mentioned some things. I'm going to ask you to repeat them. I had never heard that some legumes, some peas, could possibly be used for proteins in the animal feed.
A cow peas can and black eye peas can.
Yes. Okay. But a lovely thing those are because humans can eat them thing too.
But all animal feed are human feed too. Corn and sorghum.
True.
Corn.
And soya. And sorghum can use. And cassava.
And cassava.
Yes, sir. So
we have the same type of stomach, so we can eat them.
Yes, sir. Good. Yeah. Well,
so Mr. Fulton, now we're going to hear you next week calling on some of the big guys to come to our rescue because small man can't get money to borrow. Small man can't get insurance.
Why you think
small man can't get the land to lease.
You think
the big man must pull out.
But there's a fundamental disagreement I have with you there.
Which one?
Look into the history of Jamaica. Yes. When has big man ever brought progress into this country?
Well, Ronnie.
When?
Well, let me tell you something.
When?
Well, let me speak for the big. Let me speak for the big one.
And them about slavery.
That is possible reason why we are nowhere. So let's get the big man in there now.
I'm not fight you too much on that because anybody who come with it, provided they have a good heart and look into the benefit of the whole people. We want to make profit, we want them feed the people, and God will bless them. Yes, so that me feel. Mr. Lenworth Fulton, thank you so much for your company, sir, and
thank you
for the strength of the society.
And thanks to Pearnel as well. Thank you.
All the
thank
best.
you, Mr. Fulton.
Mr. Lenworth Fulton is the president of the Jamaica Agricultural Society. Let's see what we take from that. First of all, it's very good news to hear that the animal feed supply chain appears to have been restored, and I'm hoping that we don't have a fault on this one, that people can get the food.
Well, that will learn the lesson.
Learn the lessons, sir. Thank you very much.
Right?
Yes.
It's simple.
Yeah.
You've got to produce more than you're using today so that you can have it tomorrow.
Sure.
If, for example, rain don't fall, are you going to out of water?
Look at that.
That's why we have storage.
Tank. So we better understand that and see what we can do. When we come back from the break, we join the Global Hour with Irwine Clare and Irie Jam. Stay tuned, a lot more to come from you. We talk it straight on the bridge. This is the Public Eye. Here's Irwine Clare of Irie Jam. Season's greetings to you, sir.
Scallion and thyme and onion, yes.
Irwin, you didn't eat any porn no Christmas.
what is that, porn? No, man.
Porn.
Oh, gosh.
Potato pudding.
No. I'll leave that for Jamaica when I come over. We had all the other delicacies, and, we give thanks and praise. It was a good season. I mean, the weather was not good, but it allowed us to be inside and to be warm, and we hope that
family.
And celebrate family. Yeah, that was the important thing.
That's very important.
And we wish the same to you guys.
Thank you very much. We're pleased to have. Looking forward to the guests which you will introduce to us during this hour. But first off, Mr. Clare, who is this Mr. George Santos that you have elected to the House of Congress? You among Caribbean newcomers. What do you?
But I mean, I think we're gazing. You see, and I still blame the Democrats for this, because that particular seat was part of the whole redistricting as a result of the census and Republicans having a better way of redlining than the Democrats, and they got caught. And they got this district, a new district. Here is a gentleman who obviously wasn't vetted properly, and New York, a state that has always voted in the Democratic column, so everyone took it for granted, which is a dangerous thing to do. The incumbent Democrat congressperson, who obviously would have been part of this whole extension of the district, I don't think they did a good job there. And this guy came on the scene, did some work, and let me tell you, it just goes to show you that you can do things and get away with them in this country. After all, January 6th is an example.
Well, that was the story of Trump, wasn't it? And indeed culminating in January the 6th. But
yes.
Mr. Clare, help me now. A man who is an acknowledged liar.
No. Up until recently, Up until recently. Anyway.
Okay.
Acknowledged.
Yes. Who is a fraud in most respects. Who has apparently criminal charges pending.
Yes.
Him can go in a Congress, sir?
Yes. Yeah, because there is a gentleman who is seeking a higher office who needs his vote. And that is more important than whatever a judge, Mr. Santos.
That is Kevin McCarthy?
There you go.
Uh-huh. So
the Republicans will turn a blind eye to that because they need his vote.
Oh. So the people who elected him, what am I say?
Well, they have an opportunity 2 years later to do a recall, to vote him out, or depending on the groundswell of opposition, the pressure could get to him. We don't know, but he has he has a pathway. He won the election.
But he won the election.
You won it under false pretenses.
Yes.
Well, there's no law against that.
There's what?
There's no law against that.
They can't arrest him for what he did unless he trips up with his financial reporting and all those other things. But all he did here was lie. There's no law against lying.
Well, I tell you, you people.
I'm sure you're not inviting me
well
to.
soft.
No,
You're not inviting me to go in that route.
No, because
so
I don't.
Help me on a couple other matters now,
Yes.
Irwin.
Yes.
One is you have the pictures that are bombarding the Jamaican audience locally are worse than St. William Grand Park in Kingston or Sam Sharp Square, where a whole heap of people lie down and sleep in the freezing weather.
The border.
Come from all around
Venezuela.
Washington and everywhere.
That too, yes.
That's how you treat people, sir.
Boy, yes, there are certain facets of our leadership that exposes those type of activities.
Look at it on the CNN.
For the benefit of political spoils.
But you have human spoils along with the political spoils, Daddy.
Yeah. But those are the casualties of their actions. So you find that cities such as New York, that are sanctuary states, and Washington are now absorbing these folks. And it's a challenge to the whole system, which is part of Mr. DeSantis, or whatever you call him, said DeSantis down there in Florida is one of the perpetrators too.
Okay, so what are the prospects for immigration reform?
Well, let's first start with what happens after January when the House is now Republican. I don't see any progression taking place there. I don't see anything that will come out that will point immigration in the right direction. The relief one can hope is what the executive branch can do within its limitations and subject to Supreme Court overall.
Well, So, wow, this is a reversal of history, isn't it?
Well, you see, it is going, as I said, it going to come to a bump at some point, because the very persons who are the perpetrators of these activities in immigration are also business persons and are also beneficiaries of the largest of the immigrant contribution to their bottom line. So at some point it will come to that point.
Okay.
I mean, let me ask you though, these people are
It's
coming
disappointing,
from,
you know.
It is.
these people are coming from all over the world. Most
Including Jamaica too.
Well,
Yes.
we're going
Yes.
to come back to that when Pearnel finishes his point. Irwin.
Jamaica and
Yeah.
Latin America, they have relatives in America.
In some cases, yeah.
Some
And
of
they are waiting for them.
Well, but that's not the process.
There's food and clothing and expansion. America don't have 1/3 of the amount of people they can afford to accommodate.
They don't think so, though.
Right?
They want white people from Norway, like Trump.
Now,
white.
you see, some wise guy did a survey
Yeah.
and tell them that in the next.
Yeah, and the survey is correct. But let me ask you. We want to send a strong message out, Irwine Clare. I've come across that a number of people are traveling to Panama from Jamaica,
Yes.
not to buy up stuff and bring back as Higglers
But to
do,
join the Panamanian
but
and the
to join the trek north
Into Mexico, to the border.
through Central America into Mexico
Yes.
to try and cross the Rio Grande. May I beg them not to do that?
Well,
May I beg government to come out with the Prime Minister have a New Year's message to give and to say do we are going to make things better in Jamaica. We're going to hold hands with PNP, with Nowhere and with whichever church owner what well, but not do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And by the way, and this is
So
not
you
a
go dead.
and this is not a charitable process, you know, because there are people paying hundreds and thousands of dollars for
No,
that passage.
seriously, I have been approached. Them says a minimum of, somebody asked me for a contribution, says a minimum of $2,500 them have to pay, and them have to bring a next $1,000 as a for their expenses.
And no
Yeah?
guarantees.
So that is nearly $500,000 Jamaican dollars, you know, Mr. Charles.
That means somebody is making money out of this.
Yes, sir.
And,
of course.
and some people are also losing their children
Yes,
because
sir.
up to now the lady who
she don't find the picnic.
she don't find a picnic.
No, sir. So how?
And some people are going there just to take a child to go and sell it.
Yes, sir. So
They say, you know, says I sell it.
Tell me now, Irwin, does the Caribbean community have any voice? Do they have any position on this?
But you see, here goes the dilemma. Remember now, there are 14 million, according to the estimates, undocumented immigrants in the United States. Of that number, several of whom are Caribbean nationals.
Yes, sir.
Who are waiting in line. And when I say waiting in line, I mean that they have a legitimate petition on file by whomever that will allow them a benefit. But many are contingent on rule changes, meaning that Congress have to pass new laws. All right? But they are in line, waiting for many years. There are several things that the United States Congress could do to accommodate those situations, and by doing so, alleviate some of the challenges that we'd have. But there's resistance to that. There's not been an influx or an increase in visas or green cards to the pool. That is what results in backlogs too, in people being migrating or having their petitions on file in Jamaica and wait for a long periods of time, where, you know, have certain petitions move from 5 years to 10 years and 10 years to 18 years and stuff of the sort.
But then
These are the things that contribute to some of the challenges that we face today. So you asked me the question, hold on, you asked me the question about Caribbean people.
Yeah.
That's where many of their concerns are,
Yeah.
about their existence.
And I see the line in front of the U.S. Embassy has tripled since pre-COVID times, you know. It has tripled.
That's not a good sign.
No, it's not a good sign for two reasons. One, because people are going to have to wait long periods.
Yeah.
Secondly, because many of them are going to get visitors visa and skip. And
That too.
And
That too.
get into worries. And
That too.
thirdly, there is a fundamental assumption that life is not going to improve sufficiently in Jamaica for
There
people
you
to
go.
want to stay here.
And
therefore, you take all these kind of life-risking chances.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
God.
right.
How can we be expected to do better when our professionals that we are to use to develop our country that they can make it better for them are in that line.
No, but ask yourself the question: why are they in that line? Wouldn't they be?
I don't want to be disrespectful.
All right.
There's one reason. They're looking better life, better money.
There you go.
Better jobs.
There you go.
Better housing.
And that you
better
can't blame
education.
them. And you can't blame
it don't come overnight.
I know.
They're going where you are because you and others have created an environment that these people can better off themselves.
No, but they can missing,
stay. We are here.
But you're missing something there too. You and Ronnie and others can better the conditionalities there for them to stay.
Well, Ronnie don't say it. Ronnie don't say it. Ronnie don't say it.
You know my position. My answer to that is a resounding yes. But we cannot do so with the congenital and aggravated divisions that we tolerate in the society. If people felt that there was really going to be a strong resurgence of national effort and that it was not going to be overtaken and derailed by political and other divisions, we would do much better. This is why we link with you. This is why Pearnel and I do what we're doing to try and hopefully begin to make that point. That what we see as being the undeniable basis of our existence, that people of a certain color and class must get this and other people must wait until whenever, that people of a certain political hue must be able to get through and get only public land and resources now, while other people are wait because it's the other side's fault, why we must repress the rights of people in order to get other people to behave. All of these are false equations that we are visiting upon ourselves, and many people are saying, "Me no want any more of that. Me just come out."
And meanwhile, the world looks at Jamaica as opportunistic. The world looks at Jamaica as a nice place to go vacation. As we speak today, probably half of my friends and acquaintances are in Jamaica. I don't know, the place not sinking right now. What I'm saying is that the challenges that we face, I am convinced a whole lot of the solutions are there in the country. And you're right, Mr. Thwaites, you're right, Mr. Charles. Can we find the opportunity to kind of connect the dots?
Can I tell you something, Irwin? I have one word that covers, in my impression, all of it. There is leadership at all levels. That is not only political leadership, not only financial leadership, not only religious leadership. There has to be a nationalism that comes. When we have, if you say tomorrow morning, teachers, please don't go. Train our children that we can have a new generation coming up. I say, boss, that's your job.
All right.
So if you don't train this generation coming, you're going to have Ronnie, you are on a highway to Haiti.
Hold that point there right now. And the leadership that we probably have is that there's a vacuousness in that particular type of leadership. We're up on a global break. We have to pay for what we're doing here.
And when we come back, the Honorable Byron Brown, the Mayor of Buffalo, joins us. Irwin, will you please get ready to introduce him? This is The Bridge. We'll soon come back.
We welcome you back to the Global Connection here, the Global Hour on 93.5, simulcasting on the Bridge 99 FM in Jamaica with our partners Ronnie Thwaites and Pearnel Charles. We now join them as we continue our dialogue. Gentlemen,
we're here in Jamaica. We're listening. We're very concerned that many of our Caribbean people, many of our Jamaican brothers and sisters, are severely affected by the adverse weather conditions that you're having in New York and in related areas, indeed across the United States. Tell us what the situation is. Link us with the situation in Buffalo, if you can.
Sure. And of course, most of it is to our north section. Buffalo has been at the brunt of it. Buffalo is no stranger to heavy snowfalls, and this has to be one of the most historic of the case. And in Buffalo, for the benefit of our listeners, the mayor there is of Jamaican extraction. In fact, his father is from the great parish of St. Anne. and if you might and if you might recall, we had earlier discussions this year with the associations of Buffalo, organizations out of Buffalo, when we were talking about the elections and all that. Well, this particular gentleman who has been breaking the glass ceiling and setting records on records of being the first to, has been a mayor now. This is his fifth term as he's the 62nd mayor of the New York second largest city, Buffalo. And in fact, gentlemen and our audience, the way he got to win the last election was unprecedented, because he did not win the Democratic primary, but instead he was a write-in candidate, so people actually had to write in his name to vote for him, and he won overwhelmingly. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, you'll be seeing this gentleman on many newscasts, because he's been at the helm of leading Buffalo back to some center of normalcy as a result of this snowstorm. We want to welcome Mayor Byron Brown to our listeners. Good day, Mayor.
Good day. It's good to be with all of you today.
Mayor Brown, welcome back home to Jamaica. It's very warm here, we can assure you.
Well, thank you. I wish I was in some of that Jamaican warmth right now.
Listen, we're teasing you. We want to commend you and thank you for the efforts you're making. Tell us what the circumstances are in your city now. Are things easing?
Things are easing now. Fortunately, we had gotten hit with a historic blizzard Friday and Saturday, more snowfall on Sunday and Monday, over 48 inches of snow. Some are saying that this is the worst blizzard conditions in Buffalo in over 50 years, and maybe the worst since we have recorded weather impacts in the city of Buffalo. So it was a very difficult storm, very dangerous storm, and a very deadly storm, with 28 residents in the city of Buffalo passing away during the storm conditions.
Oh my! So what has happened now? Is there still icy conditions, snow conditions? How far is the rescue effort? Tell us some of your challenges.
So now we have been working with state, county, other agencies from across the state of New York. President Biden, at the request of our governor, Kathy Hochul, has declared an emergency, a state of emergency, which is very helpful. We have over 450 pieces of equipment plowing snow, hauling snow, opening up residential streets in our community. We have 98% of main streets that are clear and passable, 75% of secondary streets that are clear and passable, and at least 50% of residential streets have had one pass through them. It is our hope to open up every residential street by the end of the day, to lift the driving ban that I've imposed in the city of Buffalo by the end of the day, and open up city government and open up the city by tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Mayor, for those persons who would have been having challenges as a result of the travel ban, who would have medical need for food, those who are shut in, how are those situations being handled?
Well, we knew early that this was going to be a very dangerous and deadly storm. We put out messages to members of the community that the last day that they could safely drive for a few days would be this past Thursday. And we asked people to do their grocery shopping, to get any medications that they needed, if they were going to have family members over for the holidays, get them there early or stop them from coming all together, to get flashlights, to get candles for their home, because the storm was going to have tremendous impacts. At the height of the storm, over 20,000 people without power. That number of power outages is now below 450, And what we've been doing is providing aid to people who need to get medications, who need to get to dialysis, chemotherapy, other major medical appointments, and trying to help people in every way possible. But during the driving ban, which was imposed Friday morning through Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and today, we want people to try to stay at home to the extent possible, because people driving in the blizzard conditions on Friday and Saturday, some driving, getting stranded in their cars, passed away, and some trying to walk in blizzard and whiteout conditions actually passed away, got disoriented, and passed away right out on the street.
Wow.
What does the declaration of a state of emergency do to help you, Mayor Brown? The notion of a state of emergency has a different connotation in Jamaica. Tell us what it does for your situation.
What it does for our situation is it gives us the ability for federal reimbursement of our expenses to address the storm up to 75%. That's critically important because in the last less than 2 months, the city of Buffalo has had to deal with 3 storms. This storm, historic, but a storm that we had in November, also a historic storm. Buffalo has literally spent millions of dollars in dealing with these storm conditions, and with the declared state of emergency signed by the President of the United States, President Biden, we should be able to get 75% of those expenses reimbursed. We're also asking our federal government and our state government for more resources because this city has suffered trauma. People have been lost. Millions of dollars have been spent. And we know with global warming, there will probably be more harsh weather conditions in the future, and we need even more equipment, more facilities, and more resources to be able to deal with storms like this in the future.
Mayor, let me ask you this: with the plan, the idea, the forecast for the weather to change and it get warm, it don't mean that melting of some of the snow will begin to take place. Is there a fair challenge now to the possibility of flooding and its impact?
That's a great question. There is the possibility of flooding. Toward the end of the week, the temperatures are supposed to warm. Temperatures will get to about 50 degrees, which is going to cause a lot of melting of snow. And we know that after some of these storms in the past, there has been flooding. We are bracing ourselves for that, preparing ourselves for that. During the height of the storm, we had temperatures that were minus 22 degrees below zero with the wind chill. And in a week's period of time, we'll now have temperatures that are in the 50s.
Indeed. Ronnie?
What's the future? Economic activity must have taken quite a blow because of all of this, not to mention the softer elements of Christmas spirit, etc. What's the mood of your people, Mayor Brown, and how do you expect them to pick up the pieces? I know you've had tough economic times. You've been leading a resurgence of economy and work in Buffalo. Take us from here to there.
The people in Buffalo are tough and resilient. We look out for each other in this city. We're known nationally and internationally as the city of good neighbors because of the way people rally around each other, support each other, and try to generally lift each other up. This past year, the city has been through a lot. We had a racially motivated mass shooting in May of this year.
Yes, we knew
at
that.
the grocery store. That took 10 precious innocent lives and wounded 3 others. In November and December now, 3 storms, 2 of them historic in nature, but the people of Buffalo are resilient. We continue to pray and rally around each other. And just prior to COVID-19, and the challenges that presented for communities all across the globe, Buffalo was going through a real renaissance. We had experienced a period of over $8.6 billion of economic development, job creation, and investment in different parts of the city.
Really?
So our plan now going into 2023 is to continue the economic growth, the job creation, the business investment that we have been seeing in Buffalo. And any of our brothers and sisters of Jamaican descent in Jamaica or in New York City, we would love for you to consider moving to Buffalo.
Hello.
And bringing your businesses with you.
Well, listen up now, Mayor. Now, if we could only get the Buffalo Bills to win, but on another on another note, though, Buffalo is home to many Jamaicans. Jamaicans have played significant roles in the lives and development there in Buffalo.
Yes.
One name comes to mind, and Mayor Brown is quite familiar with him, and that's Dr. Anderson and the role that he has played. And many of our students, our children, go to school in the Buffalo area. Talk to us from that perspective for us, Mayor Brown.
Well, we certainly miss the late Dr. Charles Anderson. He was someone that adopted me in the city of Buffalo, was a mentor and a friend and a supporter for my entire time in this city, from my time as a student, having come from New York City to go to college in Buffalo, all the way through my being elected mayor of Buffalo. Jamaicans in this community have played a very significant role. They are doctors, they are bankers, they are business people, they are major supporters of this community. And part of the economic resurgence, the part of the economic growth we have seen has also been in part driven by the Jamaican community that we have in our city. Buffalo is a very diverse city. We have over 79 different languages spoken in the city of Buffalo.
Really?
And those people in Buffalo, those members of our community that are Jamaican or of Jamaican descent, have been very productive citizens in our community.
Indeed.
We are so proud of you, sir.
Yes,
and
indeed.
Glad to keep the connection. Sorry for the asperities of weather that are afflicting you. You're always welcome in this home, and we look forward to Buffalo thawing out and prospering again. Thank you so much for this. All the best.
And Mayor Brown, just remember Bob Marley's song, Buffalo Soldiers. That's who you guys are, and you will survive this.
I absolutely remember that song. I think about it often.
A nice
some
touch.
Of the things
There
we've
we go.
dealt with.
All of this.
And Irwin, don't have
Yes.
to let you know how proud I am as a son of St. Anne.
All right, there you go. There you go.
Mayor Byron W. Brown, Mayor of Buffalo, New York,
Yes.
sharing with us. This is what we do on the Global Connection.
Indeed.
This is the Bridge 99 and Irie Jam, and we soon come back.
All the best. We welcome you back to the Global
he's
Connection.
there.
Global Connection in this hour, as we link with our friends in Jamaica on the Global Connect, the Public Eye with Ronnie Thwaites and Pearnel Charles. My name is Irwine Clare here in New York, 93.5. We await to join them.
We're here, and we notice you're playing Old Lang Syne as your background. What you do?
I don't know. You have some, and there's a young man engineering this thing today.
Boy,
A young man, DJ Roy's son.
I tell you. Welcome, boy.
But Ronnie and Pearnel, before we go, I just want to send season's greetings out to our Council General here in New York, Alcyon Wilson. She was very instrumental in making us have that interview just now with Mayor Byron Brown.
Excellent.
I just want to say thanks to her and to her staff.
Very good. We thank them for the connection, and that's what we need to do. You know, we need to highlight the successes, the lineage of Caribbean people, Jamaicans
Yes.
particularly,
Yeah.
who have done well in the diaspora.
Indeed,
and
indeed.
it's a project we have in mind. We need your help, Irwin. not only on the eastern seaboard, but in Canada and in Britain as well. Wherever Jamaicans are, the bridge is devoted to ensuring that the links never are broken, or grow thin. So that's it. Good.
Do we have another special guest now, do we?
We have Keishia Thorpe on the line. Is she on?
Keishia.
Listen to me.
Hold on, no. It's Keishia. Ronnie, get it right. Keishia. All right, good.
Hello, Miss Keishia. Welcome back. Happy holidays to you.
And happy holidays to you as well.
Thank you very much. If people of his complexion could blush, you should see Pearnel Charles's face once the thought of an interview with you.
Even glasses dropping off her face.
Look at her. She's lovely. Global Teacher Prize winner 2021. Thank you very much for joining us. I hear there's an event that's going to bring Keishia Thorpe back to Jamaica very shortly. Tell us about it, please, ma'am.
Yes, so in January 21st, 2023, we will be hosting the Global Education Teacher Summit at the Jamaica Conference Center. And it will attract teachers from across the globe. Not only is it attracting teachers from across the globe, but we are specifically bringing teachers from across the globe, some of the best teachers in their country, to really bring their skills, their innovation, their talent, their knowledge, just everything that comes in that package called teacher, to Jamaica, to make sure that we create a space where teachers can collaborate, network, partner with each other. And when we think about how the COVID pandemic has changed the landscape of education and how teachers across the globe have been supporting each other, we really want to bring that to Jamaica so that those teachers have an opportunity to collaborate and network with teachers from international waters.
This is a huge endeavor. It's and one that's vital, it seems to me, for teachers from anywhere, but certainly it places Jamaica's education system right on the top of the agenda. I understand you're going to be giving the keynote address.
Yes, I will be, and I'm really looking forward to it. A lot of the teachers, especially from Jamaica, who have already registered, have reached out to me and told me that they're really looking forward to me telling my story, and they really already feel motivated. And, a lot of them have also reached out and saying that this is well needed, and they really thank me for creating a space where teachers can learn from each other and really share. Because one of the things we want to do is just break down those gates, open up those classrooms so that teachers are no longer in a space where they feel like, oh, well, this is my intellectual property, I'm not sharing. Because we realize that no more than ever, we need each other as teachers. We need to support each other, and especially with the massive teacher shortage across the globe. And of course, Jamaica has felt it as well, going back into the classroom this school year. Yeah. We need teachers to start really breaking down those walls and really sharing and supporting each other.
Ronnie and Pearnel, Keishia Thorpe and her sister are two individuals who left Jamaica using their athletic talent in furtherance of their academic prowess to where they are today. And I say that because we see so many of our youngsters in Jamaica with athletic talent, and we don't realize just how important that those talents many a times are their freedom ticket. And what she has done over the years is also facilitated opportunities for those many young athletes in Jamaica to see their way through academic and professional life skills.
Well, let me take you up on 2 points there, and Keishia would please add. First of all, using your athletic talent to get going is wonderful, but it isn't a substitute for academic and vocational strength. And many people need confuse this, don't they? And they mustn't do that, because that's a dead end. And secondly, while you're perfectly correct, Irwine Clare, yes, a freedom ticket out of Jamaica. Oh my goodness.
No, didn't say freedom ticket out of Jamaica. Freedom ticket to academic prowess.
To academic prowess.
Yeah, because many times they come to the United States and get their degrees, and many are back in Jamaica now, contributing because believe it or not,
all that's positive.
Because believe it or not, sometimes the higher education was not available to them in Jamaica.
Sure.
So we take it, and they're back in Jamaica. Guys, I can mention many who are doing just that now, and Keishia's program has helped them a lot.
But you're speaking to two of us.
Yeah.
Two of us I was a graduate of City College, City University.
But
and when I got my certificate, I was a cab driver.
Yeah.
In fact, I was making more money driving the cab.
Really?
Than I could. than they could pay me.
Than the BIT used to pay you.
I could take care of many people in Jamaica driving a cab in New York with a degree.
But you came back home. But you went back home.
I went back home. Ran into it to do the same thing. Ran as a graduate of Cornell, and then came in and get a big scholarship, and he's back in Jamaica. But let me just say this: many of our Jamaicans who have left, like this lady, look back to Jamaica to invest what they have earned.
But look at the big investment she's making by bringing this conference to Jamaica.
Right.
Keishia, what's the theme of the conference?
It's the theme of the conference is redesigning education for the future. So one of the reasons why we wanted to do that is, when we think about the practices, traditional practices, classroom practices that we see in the classroom before COVID, and how technology has advanced that landscape, and how now teachers need to be more equipped with modern tools to teach these modern students in these modern designed classroom. And we want to make sure that we're preparing students to be global citizens, because we see students, as you all were talking about, students are not just studying in Jamaica, they're studying in Europe, they're studying in Canada, anywhere. In the US. So we have to make sure that whatever we're doing in the classroom, we're preparing our students for college life and for the real world. And so it's so important that we figure out how do we redesign education to meet the needs of our modern student for the future.
Who are you partnering with for this conference? Is it your effort alone, or do you have links?
So our organization, US Elite International, is partnering with Barita Foundation, and Barita has a great program, from what we know, that helps with teacher development.
Listen to me, full support. Rita Humphreys has always made that a cornerstone of her foundation and the philanthropy of that organization. I'm glad to know that.
Yes, and they have come on. I mean, once we shared our proposal with them, we didn't have to ask twice. They jumped right on board, and we're really thankful that we have their support. We also have the support of the Minister of Education.
Good.
And we also have the support of the Jamaica Teachers Council as well as we're also having the support of the Jamaica US
Teachers
Embassy, Kingston.
Yes.
So
yes,
we do have quite a bit of people on board, and we're so thankful. We still need people to come on board, and we could definitely use some more support. But so far, I think we've been doing pretty well. And
I understand that you're going to give away some scholarships to.
Yes.
Really? Whoa.
Yes. So teachers. So we didn't want this to be just like a one-off, because so many times teachers go out and they have professional development training, and then they're like, what's next? How do we grow? How do we develop from here? So we want to make sure that we wanted to provide scholarships for teachers as well, so that they can continue to build their capacity and build their profession, and develop in their profession.
How can they register for this program?
Yes, that's important. Tell us.
So uselite.org. They can go to uselite.org. We have a registration deadline that is on January 6th. We know that school is probably not going to be in before then, but January 6th is our registration deadline for general admissions. We are providing meals. The event, I'll say, is free of charge. It is free of charge, so no
I don't
teachers
believe that.
have
Whoa.
any no teachers have any excuse to not show. It's free of charge. We're feeding teachers. They have free breakfast, free lunch, and also free coffee breaks. And also great opportunity to network with other teachers from across the world.
You just wake me up a while ago.
but you will have to pay. You will have to pay to attend.
Is this only for teachers?
All educators.
Teachers and lovers.
As long as you're in the education profession and you're in a school building serving students, we want you to show up.
I'm hoping that the universities will join in the sponsorship, Keishia.
Yes.
The academies must join in the transformative effort, and I'm throwing word at them that they must line up with you to make this an enduring success, and with plenty positive follow-ups, eh?
Yes, definitely. So we again, we're still encouraging the all the ministries to come out. We do have a minister and stakeholder session, and anyone who would like to have input in the minister and stakeholder session, please reach out to us at uselite.org or at info@uselite.org. If there anyone who would like to contribute to our efforts as well and jump on board as partner and sponsors, please reach out to us at uselite.org.
Well, we're going to invite ourselves in.
This teacher Thorpe that we have in Jamaica.
Yes.
At the top class of the Ministry of Education, are they in a connection?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but certainly we're going to move to play a part to make sure that you get the widest possible audience. Eh?
Indeed.
That's really good.
That's what the bridge is all about.
Keishia Thorpe, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in January, and reminding people uselite.org.
Yes. And January 6th.
January 6th. Take care. Wonderful.
Teacher of the year, Keishia Thorpe.
Can't imagine.
Global treat. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Good. Irwine, that's great news.
Yeah, man.
Hope you'll give it coverage on your end too.
Oh yes, man.
And we certainly will on this.
Irwine, you're doing some good jobs.
Yes.
You're doing a good work.
I'll send you the invoice. How's that?
Well,
it's still a good job.
I don't have a mind collecting it and transfer it to the man on my left. He has everything. He has it in his pocket. He has it in his brain.
Listen,
but gentlemen, I just want to take this opportunity to say to from our family to your family, though, that season's greetings. This year has been a fantastic year, and we look forward to some greater things in 2023.
Indeed, and we've broken ground so much in media and in the kind of synergies and partnerships that the country and indeed all people of Jamaican origin need. Thank you so much for playing a central role in that. We look forward to more and better in 2023.
And by the way, Pearnel, I'm coming for my gift shortly, so tell whomever package it that I'll be there.
Oh yes. I must advise you, it was already packaged. I don't know if it has been distributed, but
Reverend Thwaites.
But just give us
your
a chance.
Ears, from your ears, from his lips to your ears.
Give me a chance to say Happy New Year to all our Jamaicans in the tri-state and other areas who are listening.
Yes.
And for those who know about me,
and many,
please
pass it on. Thinking also, just a final sentence to many of those who wanted to come home and haven't been able to because of the cancellation of flights. Yes. Many of those who are stuck here and are worried that they may not be able to get back to their obligations. We hope that soon eases out. Eh?
Indeed. All the best, gentlemen.
All the best to you. Till next week, till the new year. Thanks to Tamoy, thanks to Jeff, thanks to Romy and all of the Bridge 99 staff who have made the public eye possible. And we're grateful to you, Mr. Charles, for all your kind services.
And may I just say that I hope that the next year will be better.
Indeed.
For all of us.
Thank you so much.
For the country.
And
how fortunate we are that we are not in Buffalo.
Well, believe me, yes.
Can you imagine that?
Thank you that. And thinking of the people in Ukraine and all of the other trouble spots and giving thanks for being in Jamaica and to lift up our country and people at this time. Time for Nicky Z and all the music that the Bridge offers. See you next year.